NERDSoul.
Let's get on into the next segment. Let's get this thing.
Cool. We got some people at the door. Let's go ahead and open that door.
Yeah, let's see what we got. The door.
Open the door. Who we got? Oh, we got some people.
Oh man, that's a lot of folks.
Oh, we got some folks coming through.
Coming to here.
Oh, we got some people.
Oh man, that's a lot of folks.
Yeah, we got some people. We got some people up in here.
Okay.
A whole bunch of beautiful black folks.
Oh man, we recording live from Wakanda and from outer space. This is nice.
A bunch of beautiful black folks.
Yes.
Oh, new friends.
Right.
All right, cool. And if there's anybody watching a live stream, just turn that volume down, and y'all will be good.
Happening.
If there's anybody watching a live stream, just turn that volume down. Yeah.
Wow.
So, guys, we are joined by some more dope folks. We're waiting for one more to come through the door.
Let's start.
And he'll be here shortly. But we've got starting on the second row from the right or left, however this flips it. Got Brandon Easton, John Jennings in the center square, Solar Greye, Ninja Yoyo, and then we got Chuck Collins and the Blerdgurl at the bottom. And we've finally been joined.
And like and who from In the Darkness shows up to what we got going on.
What's up?
Wow.
Yo.
Hello.
The Dark Knight.
Dark Blerd returns. I want y'all to be fully aware that this is not the rent party that this city needed, but it was the one that deserved. Live from the Hall.
Man.
That's that budget money that he's got. That's how you get a Hall of Justice behind.
That's right. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, I swear to Verbal the Rapper. All right, I swear to that.
You got to invest.
Yeah. He is a beast. He is a beast, and he's the truth. So, surviving the quarantine, something that we're all probably trying to do. Just as an overall, how is everybody mentally, to the best of their ability? Everybody feeling pretty good, all things considered, with all of the madness?
I suppose I'll start. First off, when we think about survivors, are we thinking Beyonce or Gloria Gaynor? Because I'm stuck with that.
Solar taking a triple Lindy right into the
right.
Hey, it's go big or stay home. Oh wait, we're all staying home.
I about to say we're all home.
You got no choice.
Yeah, but no, we're surviving. We're holding up. I recently have been put on the label of essential workers, and good stuff has been happening from my end. Good stuff for the country as a whole. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. It's kind of torn into my broadcasting, but it's one of those worthwhile sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really big thing. But yeah, as far as surviving the quarantine, this ain't new. This really ain't new. I know it's not new for me, and it's not new for a lot of our people. A lot of us that were there with Watts and Detroit, and of course, I was in LA in '92. So the whole idea of stay your butt at home, supplies running out, and the world is crazy outside. So for us, what? It's Saturday.
We have seen it.
Right. Real talk.
Yeah. So but this is I think, as we always tend to do, as history has shown, we make the commitment of coming out better than we went in. So I think we're doing all right.
Okay.
So yeah.
Agreed.
So, and this can go out to anybody. First question, just how are you guys maintaining your creative output, your branding, and or finding an audience or connecting in the current paradigm?
And well, for me,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Who's that? Oh yeah,
that's me. It's Chuck.
I'm playing.
Love your shirt, by the way. It's cool.
Oh yeah, hey,
wow,
gotta represent, man.
That's right.
Yeah, so for me, it's like I just had like a ton of deadlines. Those are very those haven't stopped. You know, they've shifted. You know, book I just finished for the Megascope line. You know, with Nnedi Okorafor and David Brame. That's got pushed into February now, just because of the pandemic and such. And I'm finishing up teaching. You know, I was teaching this class on Afrofuturism and black superheroes. You know, so that's finishing up now. Wow. So yeah, I've just been kind of pushing forward. I think this last couple of weeks have been very disruptive for various reasons. I mean, yeah, the issue, the murder of George Floyd was like, it was really. I brought up in class because we were talking about Watchmen. I was teaching Watchmen, the TV show, in context of the things that were happening. So, other than that, I mean, I've been just kind of pushing forward with projects as best that I can, raising, the little boy, he'll be a year soon, like in a month. Amazing how they do that. It's crazy. So, other than that, though, I think
until they get taller than you.
Yes. Yeah.
I was actually surprised you had to feed him every day. That was new for me.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what's going on? Like three times.
Again?
Three?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right.
What's up, y'all? It's Karma, the Blerdgurl. I think for a lot of us, it's been it's been tough, obviously, trying to stay creative in the space. For me, I had like 30% of my income is speaking engagements, and those are gone. So, but for me, as with I think a lot of other people, there's multiple streams of income, and so I leaned into my consulting business, which is Thailand Creative, which some of you that have been in here today I've worked with, which is helping artists and creatives market themselves online. That I've leaned into heavily, and people are seeing more of that brand, which is good. For the Blerdgurl, because that is more specifically just my particular brand and my my journalism, and as well as sort of the geek centric stuff. I started actually up again my video channel, which I didn't have time to do because I had so many deadlines before. So there's been some good creativity out of it. I still have my one column over at Sci-Fi, but I'm still doing my podcast and stuff like that. And I find a lot of people that I'm talking to are doing the same thing. Like all the stuff that I didn't have time to do, I'm trying to lean into. But at the same time, when things happen, like what happened this week and the last few weeks, even though you have all this time to do it, you don't want to do it because you're creatively like, what is happening? But I think for me, and I think it might be the same for Chuck, that sometimes the work, or for me with like Thailand, helping people has been sort of a balm, in this crazy.
Speaking from somebody that likes to comment on social ills and craziness going on in society, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with every day. I come up with a joke like, wouldn't it be funny if Trump said this one thing and then he actually does it and then says it even worse? And I'm like,
or killer bees.
Killer hornets.
What do we need now? Killer
bees? Exactly.
Oh wait, no, they're the killer bees.
It's like, oh no, Cthulhu's coming out the sky tomorrow. Like I don't know what to say anymore or what to do. So
that's Thursday.
Wow.
It's just become a real challenge. Like I just don't know how a lot of political cartoonists do it, like try to keep up with the times. But it's actually very challenging to do that because my situation during this whole pandemic has been a little bit crazy because it's been faced with like multiple friends being diagnosed with the coronavirus, two of which who have already passed from it. One wasn't COVID related, but just smacked in the middle of nowhere. So it's just like every day, it's like death is just knocking at your door and it's just right there. So it kind of makes it a little hard to be a little cheery in creating. But at the same time, there is a freedom as an artist where, you go through it and like every energy, whether it's anger, sadness, happiness, or whatever the case is, you tend to channel it into your work. And sometimes you're capable of coming up with the most brilliant things that you can possibly do, not because you think at the time when you're doing it is brilliant, but because it's just that raw emotion and you throw it into the work. And you and us artists are always like very critical of our own work and what we do. we may see it like, oh, that comic was horrible. And to everybody else, it seems like the best thing that they could have heard at the time. So that's one of the driving points that keep me going. I think I maybe did like 2 comics when this whole thing started, and I've been working on one particular comic that I've been like really, really going crazy with. It's like the Bouncer and Yemaya versus the COVID virus monster Cthulhu looking thing that came out of nowhere.
The Killer Murder Hornets.
The Killer Murder Hornets. Yeah. She's been watching, she's been over my shoulder, and I literally do it on, because I work digitally, but I've been doing mostly stuff on paper now. And she's just sitting there watching over my shoulder like, what is happening? So I don't know, baby, but at some point this is gonna make sense. So that's basically it though, man.
That's wild. So I wanted to make sure that I got to everybody, but another question that I had was that a lot of us, by our nature, the work that we do, we're crafty, we create and we make. I wanted to ask, is there a skill that you either have developed or picked up or reconnected to that perhaps, you know, as a result of being locked up? Like for me, for example, I started my own talk show. I know that Verbal the Rapper, AKA Malcolm Barret, he started his own show that has a lot of Malcolms in it. What's the name? What's the name of the show?
He's on.
Going live with Malcolm.
Going live with Malcolm.
Okay, first of all, I gotta say that background is amazing. Yes, with Ken versus Ryan. Oh my God!
Wilding the whole time, like I've been trying.
I just now noticed it. I'm
Ken
sorry.
Ryan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like he's been real slick with it. But just anybody at all around in general, is there something that you picked up as a skill, or something that maybe you've gone back to or reconnected to as a skill that you've been messing with more because of the current circumstances?
I watched a Blender video one time, like a couple Blender videos to animate in 3D. I didn't do anything, but I just watched them.
That's a start. That's a start.
Right.
I started doing the Stream This YouTube show over on the Blerdgurl because it was actually a show I developed for sci-fi that got killed, but I still had the concept. And there's 357 different streaming services out there. And I'm like, I could not be the only one that's trying to figure out what to watch in this space. And so that's why I started Stream This. So yeah, I think and I had to start it when I was at my mama's house, who had to have heart surgery in the middle of this mess. Yeah. And I was just doing it as an outlet. And I didn't have my big gear, my pretty mics, none of that. And I'm like, all right, we're just gonna do this on the laptop in her living room, and I'm gonna figure out how to edit this without the good stuff and see if I could do it. And I did it. And it was sort of like a challenge to myself. So now I don't have any excuses. Now that I'm home, I'm like, oh, well, I did this on a phone. I should be able to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, for me,
first and foremost, introductory wise, I was deemed essential since day one, which actually was a blessing for me because I got paid and all that. 2 out of my 3 of my jobs, actually, I was basically working every day and had to do a rebrand for one of my clients in the middle of all that. So all that going on, plus cosplay, which I missed out on 2 guest gigs automatically off the first couple of weeks. And then, of course, RIP to all the cons. I mean, that's a means of hustle for everybody. I think everybody that's here. So getting over that depression and everything, I still had to stay on the trajectory that I was on the past few months, you know, trying to create content, new content, fresh content, and still engage with everybody socially. So I found myself doing things I normally would roll my eyes at or not do because it's what the kiddos do. Like I didn't do a lot of TikTok because, you know, I'm over 30, but I gave it a try a couple of times. Went on and then also just being resourceful. Like that was something I did starting out because it's like, oh, I don't have the budget for this. But now it's like I can't budget for this, 50,000 con that I'm not going to. I can't build that. I can't build that armor anymore. I can't or at least not now, not today. So it's kind of like where you having that struggle mill and you open up you open up the cabinet and all you got is some ramen and a couple of slices of cheese, and you're like, you know what, this is what we're gonna eat this week. It's been like that. Like, you know, I got this wig, I got these pieces of fabric, I can stitch this and, you know, throw a ring light on for $10 and try to do my best to still create content that I like, that my followers and my friends would like as well. So it's just been and then do it weekly and consistently. It's just been like on top of working. It's just been kind of a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been like, first off, major props, Ninja, major props.
Thank you.
Because let's see, I graduated college at the turn of the century. And anybody that's been out of school for more than 5 years will be able to back me on the fact that if you are not specifically working in the field that you graduated in, rust builds up like crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
So over the course of this COVID thing, I've been working on, one, remembering everything that I can get my hands on from college. But I studied a lot in college, so that's been a lot of catch-up work. And secondly, when I graduated, I graduated film school in about 2002. And that was when we went from tape to digital. So it's been trying to catch up with all that new stuff and transferring the old knowledge of the photography principles, lighting, always getting the sound right, you know, that kind of thing. Also been writing, and since everything that we're doing as creatives tends to be well, let's face it, as creatives, our work exists on three aspects: creation, creation, exposure, and upgrades. I mean, that's just the three things. And we can't really upgrade a whole lot because that takes the fruits of the exposure and the creation. So it's been a matter of really working on the exposure aspect of what I do here. Ninja said it right there, being resourceful. And I've been lucky because everything about what Back in the Deck does is about being resourceful. So we're used to working on you know, those plastic things on the end of a shoestring, you know, that kind of budget, like not the whole string, just the plastic bits on the end. And you know, keeping up those skills and really reaching out to the people now that I know people are home. So since people are home, it's like, you know what, let's talk about these things. What can I do to make what can I do to get you more exposure out there? How can we work together and build more stuff? And really building the community, since the community of nerds, specifically Blurds, one, we're hurting, and two, we're probably home. You know, so it's just been a matter of reaching out and making sure that people are around, aware, and knowing that there are resources out there for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that the biggest skill I've been trying to reacquire or acquire in the first place would be figuring out how to deal and engage with internet fandom while also making people aware of your work.
Right.
Because there's a lot of clutter out there, and you have to figure out a way to connect with people on an emotional level, because story in its essence is a series of emotional beats headed toward a conclusion, right? So with that being said, it's tricky sometimes because we're all being marketed to, and they say that a person has to hear something somewhere between 8 to 17 times before it makes an impression in the current digital and, you know, film and TV marketplace and landscape. So for me, I've always had trouble trying to cut through that clutter, and it's a very difficult skill because you do need to build on a niche audience, but you also have to flip the niche to a universal situation. They say the more, what do they say? They say the more specific your story is, the more universal it is. But that doesn't always apply to product. So you have to consider the medium in which you're telling your story, because novels, I feel, prose novels have a greater impact on the marketplace than, let's say, graphic novels do. Because I'm looking at a lot of prose novelists who've been able to cut through the clutter on a level that I couldn't even dream of on my best day. You know, So I've been thinking about ways to connect and engage with people as a storyteller and also as a marketer, so to speak. Because in the essence, when you are either freelance, even if you're doing mainstream like Marvel or DC stuff, or if you're doing television or film, you're still ultimately an independent contractor. Wow. And the independent contractor has to figure out a way to level and create and maintain an audience. So for me, it's been a trying time. You know, I'm still trying to figure that out, but I've luckily watched a lot of people, like even folks on this, you know, in this little Brady Bunch paradigm we've got right here. There's a lot of folks I've known who I've watched as a marketer, and I've worked for all kind of people, and I'm not going to do my resume or nothing, but I've worked for all kind of people on all levels. And there's still an inability sometimes to connect with the largest possible audience. So I feel that just listening and learning from people and figuring out how to engage with internet fandom without getting angry, because I don't have a lot of patience for cowardice, and the internet is the domain of cowards to me. And on all levels. I'm not just talking about comics gate jackass.
I've seen your post, Brandon. Trust me, we all know.
Right, but I'm just saying that on a basic level, you know, you have to figure out a way. Because, you know, I always say this: people say stuff and do stuff on the internet that they would never do to your face. Right. You know, and it's a very difficult thing to try to still sell to those people. You know, because in a way, sometimes you need your frenemies to make money, you know. So, I'm just thinking about it from that perspective. So I'm just learning how to navigate these waters, because I feel like they're infested with electric eels and barracuda and piranha. But on the other side is a big old patient.
Man of Wars.
Portuguese man of wars. That's a whole different level.
Brandon,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Nah, I was just saying, as far as internet and trolls and all that stuff goes, I try to be way more dispassionate about commentary and even some of the stuff that I post. Like most of the stuff I'm passionate about. But if somebody is coming on and, you know, they're going to come to troll and they're going to come to do whatever, I try to keep a dispassionate attitude about it, because I don't want to leave whatever internet space I am, whatever platform I'm on, and go about the rest of my day and be feeling angry or upset or whatever. You know, like I need to be balanced for the kids, for my wife, and whatever. So yeah, you know, that's.
Brandon, you're absolutely right what you were saying about being people needing to see things between 8 and 17 times. You're absolutely right about that. You're also absolutely right about like the hustle. Like people don't realize I'm not staff at Sci-Fi. I'm freelance. I have to pitch for every single thing you see. And I'm pitching at multiple places. Every time you see an article from me that I haven't paid for, I've had to pitch, and there's probably 10 that were rejected. So it's like, it's a constant thing, and in terms of finding it, and then there's, finding my audience and helping clients and things like that. The thing that people forget is, first of all, the trolls are always going to be there. I'm a Black woman that exists in media and comic books. They stay hating me. Yes. Black, white, purple, green, Technicolor, all day, every day. I stay blocking, because the problem is the algorithm will give you whatever you click more on, the algorithm will give you more of.
Right.
So you're not going to see me engaging in a huge, long battle on Twitter. I'm going to take it to DMs. If you threaten me, I have stuff for that too. That's a whole, but it's not going to be online. Like, so it's just, so the issue is being able to actually, because there's 3 big ways that you can get big on like something like Twitter. You live tweet, somebody famous retweets you, or you fight. Yep. I'm not lying, but the problem is if you fight, then it's like a hockey game. People just show up for the fight. I have a client who went through that. She's trying to sell a book. She's having such a hard time because people are used to her fighting. They show up to her feed to fight. She's saying, and I have this fantasy book. They don't care. They want the fight.
Right. Yeah.
So you either have to make separate accounts, one that you fight on and one that you sell your work on, or like you said, also niching down is huge. And when people don't understand that niche, somebody said, oh, why don't you write about, why don't you do reviews and stuff about different Black movies and stuff? My niche is genre. Genre is comics, superhero, horror, fantasy. If I go beyond that, if I was everything, I would never have been on the red carpet for Black Panther. I would never have been called to Atlanta when HBO was like, oh, we need a Black nerd female who might know about comics. I was at the top of the list because the reps already knew me because I only do that. Now, do I write about other things? Yes. Do I get paid for do other things? Yes. But if you write children's books and you get known for writing really good children's books, and somebody like Rick Riordan yells about you or Oprah yells about you, can you write something else? Absolutely. But people already know your name. So that's the thing. People, the big issue that I have, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop talking in a second, but I go nuts when people get, oh, I want this person on Facebook to like me. No, you want that bookstore in Japan to buy your stuff.
Right.
Like we just have to think bigger. Stop looking at the dude across the street. He don't want you, never did like you. You have to start looking at bigger. And also, you do not have to accept every invitation to every fight you're invited to. Stop it.
Yeah, it's
Stop. Like it's a way to get followers. There's people who literally try and bait me every day because they want the fight so they can get the followers. I'm done.
When to me, sorry, to me,
oh no, please.
My person is my brand. And so therefore it follows me everywhere. I mean, like literally everywhere, whether I'm at work, it might come up, whether I'm grocery shopping, whatever. And that even pertains to my personal Facebook. They find you, they're gonna find you. And so then you find yourself maintaining this, or me personally, I find myself trying to maintain this balance no matter how you see me, because you ain't gonna catch me slipping. Because the moment I do, I'm an angry Black woman, or I'm the person that, that competes for a day, or it makes you feel good that some people took your side. So I take branding more than just like the stuff you put out, because that is important too. But you got to conduct yourself, because there's always going to be a hater in the corner looking for you to not do something right, to slip, to say something wrong, to do something wrong. And yeah, that makes them super negative. And we're in a negative time in the world right now where we need to be as positive as possible. So don't even pay no mind to that, because that's not going to stop your cash flow if you're just being, true to your brand and true to yourself, and just conduct yourself as such. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth the troll. So when they do pop up on my feed with something crazy, now if they do something crazy, they go out flood racist or something, now I'm gonna drag them. Sorry, that's going down. But if they're just saying you don't look a certain way, your body's a certain way, some weird stuff like that, I just delete it, keep it moving. I'm like, that's a trap. Like, just don't even do it. Like, so if someone's saying your stuff is not up to snuff, just keep it moving. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to move on, but and I'm not trying to give the punk fight in, but some people who know me know that, like, I'm a person that, like, the stories that we tell, I really do believe in those ethos. And I come up from a time where if you see somebody getting picked on or somebody getting pushed around, you should say something. Right. And for me, it doesn't matter who, LGBT, man, woman, cosplayer, kung fu fighter, I don't care. Like I do, and that is part of my personal branding, that, like, you might catch me going in because I also do that on behalf of people who may not have the tools to fight back. There are a lot of common tropes that I see from trolls, particularly around race. They'll say things like, oh, you people only make up 13% of the population, but 50% of the crime, and they'll show you the FBI stats. So I'll take the time to pull that guy to the side and beat him down with the reality that the rest of the conviction, that the stats don't account for all race, that all of those agencies don't pick up for ethnicity, because a lot of folk don't have the tools to know how to respond to that. And there's a lot of psychic energy that people get thrown on them for feeling like they have to be responsible for everything that Cousin Tyrone does in Chicago. But every school, movie theater, church, social gathering shooter is always a lone wolf. It's like a pack of lone wolves, and it's weird to me. So I just need to say something about that. To that being said, a lot of us are voluntarily sheltering in place, staying at home, and that may mean for some of us staying away from family members. I know with Chuck and Kamara, there was separation there around what she was saying around her family. So I just want to put out there to everybody, how is that affecting your mental health if you are separated from some loved ones, and how are you trying to counter? Now, there's people that we have not heard from, in spite of the loudness and beauty of their backgrounds, I'm not going to somebody in particular. Right now, I'm just going to voluntarily Malcolm to ask maybe how he feels about that.
Oh, about sheltering in place?
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I don't need to hang with nobody, man. I mean, that's the wildest. This is the weirdest, wildest part of this whole thing is like, you know, people are so afraid to just stay home, man. Like you just and it's funny having to deal with. I have friends who I don't want to say they're conspiracy theorists because like conspiracies are real, right? But like I have friends where they're like, where, you know, they either like, you know, quarantining, it takes away your immunity, right? So like, you know, we can't stay inside and all these other things and the government and this and that. And it's just like, all right, I mean, for me, it's about a preponderance of safety, right? And like, I don't know that I'm like, yeah, I guess there's a worry of like me losing some immunity, but like, I feel like if I die, I'll lose all of my immunity.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Are you immune to everything?
Evidently,
you know what I mean?
death.
Yeah. You know, so like, it's a gentle trade-off. So I mean, I don't know. I don't find it that. I mean, I'm a little bit weird and crazy anyway, and I kind of like being alone, so it's not that weird. But I feel like, you know, there's two sides of it. I have, you know, I have family, and I have my mom who stays at home and chills and does that thing, and then I have my brother who I think you can find on World Star about a week and a half ago because he got into a fight in the Bronx. So it's hard, man. Like you can't, you know, family is family, and you do what you can, but you know, it's a hard thing being an artist in this thing because as an artist, everyone here, it's hard because we get paid with our appearances and with going out. You know, I've got stand-up comic friends who can't do things, musicians who can't do things, and so. But at the same time, if you are an artist, chances are your work began in your head and at home. And, you know, running around and trying to figure out who you are and what you can do. And so, you know, there's negatives and positives about that. And so like Quinn said, I've been trying to find these avenues. You know, I greatly admire all these friends of mine and folks like you who are able to take advantage because a lot of it is marketing and I'm not good at that. You know what I mean? And so like, I have to force myself to do these things where it's like, I've suddenly got like a mic, you know, that I'm using over here and I've got head things and I'm trying to create and I'm going, you know, like Ninja said, we're just like, okay, am I looking at TikTok now? Do I see if I want to create a dance and a movement? Like, what am I doing? You know? And so I think it's also about stepping out of your comfort zone. You know, for me as an actor, I've seen that, you know, I can't act right now. You know, I've done like one socially distanced film that was very difficult, but, you know, paid off a lot. But, you know, now I'm writing more. The industry still wants to see writing because they want to have stuff ready when they're ready to fully go and be engaged. So it's about finding avenues, or at least for me, it's about finding avenues that still fit what I do, you know? And when it comes to branding and being a person, for me, you know, I very much put them together. You know, when I first started in this industry, you know, I would tell, you know, because you deal with PR people, and I would tell them, I was like, I'm the wild card, baby. I'm gonna say shit. Okay, just be ready. You know, and the thing about branding is when the audience, it's like you said, the expectations of the audience sometimes drives your brand. So if the audience knows that you're weird or wild, or nerdy, and this, they take things with a grain of salt and they can run with you if you build that niche properly. And those base of people understand who, like, I think the base of people that follow me know I'm a weirdo. I care about my community. I care about Black shit. I curse. I do whatever. And so they're willing to go around when I join shows where I play a super nice guy, or I'm a super this, or I'm that. And, you know, it's about building who you are so that people can take that journey with you, at least for me.
I absolutely agree with that, Malcolm. You are a man after my own heart. Like, I have no problem being home. I am not necessarily, I wouldn't say I was great with marketing, but at the same time, I'm trying to learn those things. Yeah, I think if you build into your brand, like me on Facebook, I'm a little combative. I share a lot of art, and I'm blackety black. And I try to build that into the thing. So when people see me posting black stuff, white friends, brown friends, whoever friends, I don't expect, and I don't think they expect, hopefully, that they won't see that kind of stuff from me, and they won't expect that if they challenge me on it, that I won't dig in. And it's not all the time. Again, I'm more dispassionate these days. In 2012, I was arguing, I was a troll, I was doing all that. I'm still a troll, but I don't argue as much.
I've been fortunate, man. I feel like I don't have a lot of trolls. I feel like every once in a while, if I say something like free healthcare, or I'll get a cartoon with the word nigger in it. But for the most part, it's like, yeah.
The quality of the quantity of trolling. It's about the quality.
Yeah. I have a lot of, female friends in the, in the comics community and all this, and the shit that you have to deal with is at such another level that I can't even compare to. You know what I mean? And so it's very interesting getting those arguments. I like for the first, when I first started, when I joined Twitter, I was excited. I was like, I can't wait, man. Fights. This is going to be great, man. Because I came from debating and battling and shit. So I was excited. And I didn't get a whole lot of shit. You know what I mean? And then it was weird because I got popular with a certain crowd. I did a sci-fi show that was popular with a lot of white folks. And so your crowd is different. And I remember, I think I pissed off Black Twitter for the first time in a while. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay. I didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh yeah, just insult everybody. I don't know what I was doing. I was being so nice. Why am I being so nice? This is crazy. What am I doing?
I like
I'm learning a lot from you guys, because I'll tell you honestly, as an extrovert with real close ties to family, and when I say that, I'm proud to say I'm a middle-aged mama's boy. Fight me. But for the record, my mom is amazing. So there you go. And my mom and I have this ritual where I go over every Wednesday. We grow our greens, we grow our corn, and then we cook. And over the course of this CV-19 thing, I haven't been able to go over to see my mom. Now, my life is mostly suburbanite folks with ancestral heritage from around Europe. I think that's a safe way to say it. Yes, I think that's a safe way to say it.
Well played.
And so
white people, you can say white people. It's okay. This is a safe space, sweetheart. This is a safe space.
We're on YouTube. There is no such thing as safe with the algorithm looming. So my family is the number one. Yeah, it's the number one tie to the culture and our people. Because again, I'm stuck in the suburbs. My main nerd niche are tabletop role-playing games. And if you think the Oscar's so white, let me tell you. Seriously, so being an extrovert without being able to see my family, I can see my sanity is Spawn's power meter in the first 16 issues. It's just every day you can see just a little bit less. And John Leguizamo dressed as a clown shows up to me at night, but that's a different story. So the ways that I've been trying to keep sane is by honing my skills, broadcasting more. I mean, I'm on Twitch 4 days a week, every day, 4 days a week, with prepared content and stuff. But even beyond that, it's just I've been doing everything I can, and I get so it's so nice to know that I'm not alone in this, because Brandon, I'm hanging on every single one of your words, like that kitten in a motivational poster. Same with you, Blerdgurl. Because man, you guys are hitting it. There's so many things. We're stuck in this web of respectability politics traps. So the moment we get passionate, we're labeled as angry. And make no mistake, everything that I do, I'm doing for Generation Z and younger, because I don't want to make too many old pop culture references, though I am old, but the children really are our future. you know. If I can get them down there, if I can get their minds open, then I've kind of done my part, you know. But simultaneously, I am a very angry man. I was told years ago. Now, for the record, I got 2 Facebook accounts, and the reason for that was my old Facebook account with all contacts professionally. That was, I think, 400 words containing various strains of expletives, like every 4 hours, like clockwork. I was very consistent. And people were like, "Oh, you're so negative. People won't want to work with you, blah, 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 blah." So I started another one. I started another Facebook, and I'm just like, all right, I'm doing that thing. Like the woman down there was saying, yeah, I got 2 Twitters. And one Twitter is, "Hi, everybody. Let's help teach our kids how to read. Let's do all that stuff." And the other one is where I have my Nicolas Cage tantrums. And,
which one is the black and white pic where you're like the album cover, like, yo?
That's the old account. That's the old account with all them expletives. Yeah, that's the old account with all the cussing and the hate and all that other stuff. So
click follow.
Huh?
No, I was just clicking follow. Go on, please.
Oh, okay. Oh God. I'll send y'all links, you know, especially you, Quinn. We gonna have fun on that one. But when it comes to all of the emotions that come up, because I told people about this isolation, this quarantine order is serving the purpose that jail was intended to serve. We have time to sit back, think about our lives, decide the kind of people that we want to be, and then come up with a plan to get to that, because we ain't got nothing else to do but lift weights and pick fights. That's it. We can get better. We can lift weights, proverbial weights, like learning new skills, honing our stuff like that. Or we can just get worse and deteriorate. So over the course of this time, you know, reaching out to family has been, again, the internet's so helpful on that. It really has been, to try and at least keep family informed on what we're doing. Try and say, like, look, I know you ain't going nowhere right now, so you may as well read this. You know, talk to me about that kind of thing. So that's where I've been. That's where I've been on that.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to say real quick. Okay. Chuck, were you going to say something now?
I actually was. I wanted to double down on what Solar was saying, but I'm sorry. Who was that? Because I can't see everybody on screen though. Okay, John.
What? I'm sorry.
Okay, I thought she was going to. I couldn't see everybody on screen. I'm so sorry.
Malcolm's killing him with the background, son.
I'm saying.
Oh, come through.
There you go.
Record, I got paid $400 for that day.
Get that check. Get that
Story
check.
time. $400.
Oh man.
Yeah, see, that one I was fire breathing at a wedding, and
wow.
That's neat.
So they're like, I want to give you $400 to perform at my wedding, and I'm like, I'll take the $400 and I'll perform at your wedding. So
that's why you smiling like that.
That's right. 400
$400
I was broke before that wedding. That's what I'm saying.
But just to double down on what you said, Solar, it's like one of the things that, you know, I went through when Karama had to leave before the pandemic broke out. So I was here in New York by myself. And the thing about here is that, you know, all of my other family is around me. Like my mother and the rest of my family live in Queens. Karama had to go to Jersey. So it's not like everybody was that far away. And I have no problem being by myself, but it became like this anxiety of I can't just hop on the train and go visit my mom. I can't just go out and do certain things. And then you're kind of like, all right, well, you're in that headspace and you're kind of, okay, I'm accepting the reality for what it is. And then you hear one of your best friends get like, you know, like they have COVID, they got diagnosed. Yeah. And then in 72 hours, they pass away. And then you're like, what is happening? So then it becomes this process of.
And what are they not telling us?
Exactly.
That was what we went through.
And it was like every day her and I would like FaceTime, you know, it became like, that was like the sanity hour. It was like, she was going crazy. I was going crazy.
My mother was in an apartment building that was not obeying anything.
Yeah.
And it's all seniors, and people are laughing at me wearing gloves and masks. And there's like literally Avon ladies showing up at the door. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, it was insane. Like, I was like, I am in a parallel universe. It's happening, you know? And so I'm on FaceTime, like, the world is coming to an end. And he's like, it is here too. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. So it just became a process of every day just getting through it and making sure everybody was fine. So my concentration was gone. I tried to sit down and draw and do stuff and everything, and some stuff would be okay, but then I would find myself literally drawing on every piece of paper I could find around the house, you know. And by the way, John, at some point, I got to send you a bunch of stuff, and that's all going to be on paper.
Right. So I come home, and there's paper all over the house. The plants are dead. Alcohol's gone. It's like.
WhatsApp.
Oh man, but no, it's
artists. Backgrounds right now.
All right, okay.
Brandon over there.
No, okay. So what I was going to say real quick was that I feel like when you're hearing people say that they're bored, people are conflating boredom with an inability to deal with the voices in their head.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, there are some very deeply insecure people out there who use social activities as a deflection from being introspective. Right. And as a writer, as artists, as creators, we have to engage with those voices in our head, or else we don't have anything to create with, because that's our fuel. That's our cannon fodder, so to speak, you know? And for me, I have no problem being inside. You know, I don't really like being around people sometimes. I mean, I don't mind, you know, interacting, but I mean, when I have to do these ridiculous networking and, you know, writers bullshit around town, it's not me. You know, I just don't fit into that paradigm. You know what I'm saying? But to save my own sanity, I go outside. I mean, I'm not a fool. I'm not going to a party or jumping in a pool in the middle of Missouri, but I go outside almost every other day. You know, I live near a beach, thank God. I drive. I don't get out of my car, but I will drive and roll my window down and just like let the air hit me and just think about stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, my family's in Baltimore, you know, for the most part. I mean, I'm not going back east anytime soon, but I will go back east at some point, pandemic be damned, just to check on my family. But the trick is that I'm completely okay in my own headspace. And I feel that there's a lot of folks who simply cannot sit still. There's a lot of folks who cannot quiet whatever insecurity or fear or self-hate that exists. I mean, I've always said that instead of giving African Americans or Black people, whoever, financial reparations for slavery, I think we should all get free therapy for the rest of our lives, mental and emotional.
I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you brought that up, because mental health is something.
Yeah.
Growing up in South LA, I watched with my own eyes the deficit of mental health care within our community, you know, and the lack of care for it from outside of the community. You know, I mean, they're quick to label us, but no one's quick to help. Right. You know? And yeah, it's now I'm with you on that with the reparations part, but I've got a 5-part plan, which that includes. But yeah, I'm serious. It's not just money. But yeah, it's I've noticed, Brandon, you have a great big hammer, man, because every nail you're striking at, you're hitting flat on that head. With the internal insecurities, the stuff that people don't want to face, you know, and the methods in which they avoid it quite often are toxic. And as creators, everybody that's going to be on the rest of the show today, everybody that's been on the show all day, you know, we have a special responsibility to, you know, one of the things that's going on out there on the internet is people always making these quotes from people they ain't never read with, you know, all the best stories the best story is the story of man in conflict with himself. And one cannot have conflict with oneself if one does not confront oneself. You know, my mom tells me all the time that a real friend is somebody that knows everything about you and likes you anyway. And there's a big thing about us having to be our own friends and having to show ourselves that same care, quite often slapping ourselves in the back of the neck saying, get up, old man, it's time to get to work, and reminding ourselves that we are better than what we have been doing individually. And I mean, I do that every morning that I wake up and I don't want to hit the editing bay, or I don't want to write, or I don't want to check my lighting, or you know. And I know you guys way further ahead than I am. So the fact that you guys are doing this is inspirational. Hopefully to y'all out there watching, y'all out there, I see you in the chat and all that other stuff. So listen to these people. They know what they're talking about.
I was gonna say, you know, I'm from Mississippi originally, so I haven't lived in Mississippi.
I'm
for
so
a very
sorry.
long time.
Dirty,
So
dirty.
Ooh, you got out.
kind of like,
You Shawshank that shit.
right? Actually, that was one of the things that actually I was disappointed about, because one of my trips was home. I was a keynote at Jackson State University, and we had art show and everything. And a lot of times I'll actually even create like events in my home state so I can go home. I've actually done it several times. Actually, the first Planet Geek South was like that, where I was like, okay, I want to create a space where everybody I love to be in the same place at the same time, you know. And and so I was really disappointed that I didn't get a chance to go home. And my mom lives in Utah, though. You know, I haven't seen, you know. So usually what we'll do is we will plan family trips and stuff like that and things of that nature. Yeah, so that was a huge thing. But I think the biggest issue for me, because my wife is here, my son's here, my nephew's here, are my students. You know, that's the thing that I've missed the most about being like cloistered like this. Because like most of you, I'm very much used to, like, as Brandon said, like living in my own headspace, you know, getting on the grind and making things, you know. Fortunately, I'm connected to a large publishing entity, so they handle a lot of marketing and stuff for me. So like, you know, people reach out for me to be on panels and stuff. Thank you so much, by the way. So that's pretty cool. But after, you know, right before the shutdown, I think so. I was teaching my my Afrofuturism class, and that would have been the winter quarter, right? I'm still not used to quarters, and so I didn't get a chance to meet my final class because basically the university was like, nope, not doing it, right? So we we can't go back to class like, I can't go to my office until like sometime in August, I think. You know, it's crazy. I have not been in my office. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. And so that particular side of things has been kind of crazy because a lot of our money comes from, you know, students coming in and going to class. And so, you know, we might get furloughed. We don't know yet. Our dean just quit like yesterday. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, so it's been wild. I was like, excuse me? I actually sat through a faculty meeting with, you know, Johnny Walker Black. Like, for real. It was pretty, like, in a faculty, I'm tenured, so.
Wow.
Oh, I thought he meant the drink. I was like, wait, really?
I thought he did too. I'm like,
I was like, how do I enroll? How does that happen?
Not in class. No,
During a meeting.
But anyway, yeah, they're just dealing with all this stuff, you know. But I think, you know, the student, like, we, you know, UCR is what they call a Hispanic Serving Institute. So it's kind of like it's kind of like teaching at HBCU, but for people who are of Hispanic, you know, descent. You know, so it's like mostly, like our school, I think it's only like maybe like 10 or 11% white. You know, and so it's extremely diverse. You know, it's very, very liberal as far as like the focus of like the politics here. Our program is extremely focused on that. So I've been thinking about like the health and welfare of the students a lot, you know, because I'm used to being with them, checking on them. Yeah, I have like 60 students in my class, and I have not seen everybody because I don't know, because some people have access, you know. It's changed everything as far as like, because I had to totally take a lecture class and shift it to a online experience, and at first it was rocky, you know, and then this upcoming week is our last week, you know. So I don't know. It's been kind of rough. As far as like my family though, I see them when I can. We talk on the phone. I have a younger brother that actually I talk to like pretty much like every other day on Facebook, but we haven't seen each other literally in years, So like I'm not super like I've always been really isolated. Like I'm the oddball that left Mississippi and tried to do other things, So I think that's it. I'm gonna stop talking.
Well, with that said, I did want to thank everybody for coming through. You know what I'm saying? These times aren't easy to always be cheery, but it is easy, I think, for us to be together, and it's good for us to be together. For myself, I know, Jason and Quinn will probably back me up. Thank you for coming through. I think we needed this, and I think the people that's checking us out need this as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We, without changing what the panel is about, what I'm saying? It's just good to have our support and to continue to love on each other. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So with that said, I'm going to go around so everybody can tell folks where to find them, buy their stuff, read their stuff, wear their shirts, all that jazz. To my right or left, I don't know how I think it's this. No, this way. Brandon Easton. Tell them where they can find you.
All right, I'm on Twitter at Brandon Easton. I'm on Instagram at Brandon Easton Writer. In terms of stuff I've got going on, within the next 2 weeks, I wrote for the TV series Transformers War for Cybertron Siege, which will be on Netflix, hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks. It was like probably one of my greatest writing experiences, and also probably some of the best work I've ever done. I'm also the first African-American writer to ever write Judge Dredd. I have a Judge Dredd series that dropped, False Witness. It came out. It was the last, Judge Dredd False Witness #1 dropped on the last day new comic books came out before the epidemic shut everything down. So I have that. I'm also writing Marvel Action Spider-Man, Star Trek Year 5, and I have another Transformers series, Ultra Magnus storyline, which will be out hopefully in September. So folks can find me there, and I have a few other things I'm working on, including my Dominions Light Kickstarter, which a lot of you, thank you, donated to, which is kind of what I call a cross between Lord of the Rings and Blade Runner with Black people in it. So that's what I've got going on. And again, I'm still doing my Two Brandons podcast with my homie Brandon Thomas, the two Black Brandon comic book writers. Brandon's podcast where we talk a lot about these issues and try our best to just put a different light on things, because you very rarely get a Black male perspective on the genre scene. And we just had a little battle over The Rise of Skywalker. So check out the Two Brandons podcast. Keep it moving. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Over to John Jennings. What's up?
Oh man. So as a lot of you know, I just founded a new graphic novel line. Hoping to work with some of y'all in the future. I'm working with Chuck actually right now on a project with Dan Jose Older. So I just finished up the colors and adapting a book that's based off a short story by Nydia Okorafor. It's called After the Rain. It was going to be coming out in October, and now it's coming in like February. But editing a book with Sean Martinborough right now. So I've been just doing like a lot of editing stuff. Also, the Parable of the Sower graphic novel adaptation is out. It came out in January, like right before. That's been getting a lot of play because it's now become like a owner's manual for the pandemic. It's been kind of wild. Let's see. I'm also working, just generally like curating a couple of art shows and stuff long distance, and doing a lot of writing and raising a kid. But for the most part, those are like the biggest things. But I'm making a lot of work. I was gonna say, just in general, a lot of the stuff that I do isn't online. I do like a lot of behind the scenes, moving around things. So a lot of times, just to go back to the other piece, because I wanted to say something about that, was I don't like to get into like beefs in those spaces, because if it's something that's not moving us closer to working together and feeding everyone, then I'm not really interested in it. So that's what I'm saying. So that's all I have to say. And look, you can find me on John Jennings Art That is Instagram, and you can also find me on Twitter at JIJennings. Okay, thank you so much for having me.
What up? What up? And moving right along, we have Blerdgurl and Chuck Collins.
Oh, actually, you go first. It'll be faster. It'll be faster if you go first.
Why is it gonna be faster?
Oh my god!
I got a whole long speech ready. I was ready to like give everybody a shout out individually. I was gonna take 10 minutes a pop.
Oh my god!
No. First off, no. Seriously. First off, Malcolm, thank you for your picks in the background that had me.
Yes.
Let's try not to laugh, especially the one that you got going on right now. Like,
yeah, they're doing it so
oh my
serious.
god. It's too much.
Topical.
Her
Oh
dog
my
is
god.
off the leash.
It is all good. So basically, my name on all my social media, as far as Twitter and Instagram, is bounce_comic. And the website is bouncethecomic.com, and you can buy all the comics on there digitally, which is at gumroad.com/thebouncer. So for y'all that don't know, it's basically, I used to be a bouncer for about 12 years. Decided to make a whole entire webcomic based on all the nonsense I used to have to deal with night after night. I'd say 67% of it is really true. The rest is just indulgent for like comedic purposes. But yeah, you can find the adventures of the bouncer and Yemaya getting into all kinds of craziness. I'm also currently working with John, like he mentioned, which I am so proud of. And you will get a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to send you drawn on paper, because I haven't done that in a minute. And I've been having a lot of fun.
That's gonna take mail.
Yeah. No, I'm going to take a picture and send it to him.
No, WhatsApp, because we've collaborated.
Yeah, WhatsApp, exactly. So that's basically it, y'all. And you know, I'm gonna keep continuing to do it. The bouncer and Yemaya tend to deal with a lot of topical and current events in the comic. So I haven't done so since the pandemic started, because it's just been so hard to get the mental thing going. But you'll see some more comics from them soon enough.
And thank you so much for having both of us. I'm the Blerdgurl, TheBlerdGurl. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is Blerdgurl TV. Also on TikTok. Don't sleep on TikTok, y'all. And my consulting arm is Thailand, TIYLAND.com. Thai is my middle name. People keep saying, like, why did you spell the country wrong? And I actually am going to be having classes for both. The Blerdgurl, there'll be a class announced soon talking about how to brand yourself as an individual. If you are the person that you were putting out there, like Ninja, how to brand yourself, how to get brand deals, things like that. And then Thailand, I already have subscribers. I have a whole subscription-based program, and I work with them on a regular basis. And there'll be a course coming out talking about how to basically save time on social media and basically brand yourself across multiple platforms without like spending a lot of time on it. Because it's not brain surgery, but people have to stop. You have to not use social media like a friend. You have to look at it like a business. And then everything works much differently. So that's something else I'll be teaching. So you'll be seeing that on the interwebs quite soon. But thank you all for having us.
Thank you.
Cool. Ninja Yoyo.
First and foremost, thank you all for having me. I am an extrovert, so I do identify with the others in the sense that the meter just kind of does this a lot. So it's been really just events like this and podcasts and talking and Zoom happy hour and all that kind of stuff that I've been doing has really kept me going. It's really kept my heart filled. And we need to continue to do so as things outside seem to get more dark and dismal. So thank y'all for having me. I am at the Ninja Yoyo on all social media major platforms, including Tumblr, which I don't even think is major anymore, but I'm there. I'm still there just in case. And if you like cosplay, I usually do comic stuff and anime stuff, and this and that and the other. If you're interested in getting together for podcast ventures or just want to take a look at some of my graphic design work, XYZ, you can find me on casmall.myportfolio.com, and that has some of my body of work there.
What up, Solar Grey?
Oh, hey, how's it going? All right. Well, wasn't actually prepared for this. I'm busy like following everybody in this panel on Instagram right now, and checking my finances to see if I could take a workshop on internet marketing. Hint, hint. Anyway, I'm Solar Grey, the Cinematic Sorcerer. You can feel free to send me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can find me at twitch.tv/BID_P, because I'm very creative with my abbreviations. Monday through Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific time, for a plethora of my shows that all revolve around self-improvement and life lessons by way of role-playing games, comic books, cartoons, and pop culture, both consumption and creation. And let's see, where else? Oh, yes. Starting June 28th, we have a new show coming out called Warp Tumblr's Dark Matter, which, how can I put this? Think Critical Role, but with Black people, and it's sci-fi. I got one or two people that you guys might have heard of showing up, but my hands are strong, so I'm not dropping any names. And yeah, we'll be doing that on June 28th. And that'll be a recurring show, which will be fun. And let's see, yeah, last place. Oh yeah, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. You can find the YouTube channel if you search #BackInTheDeck. Again, hashtag BACKINTHEDECK. And again, we are a business and a social media place for the disenfranchised nerds. So if anybody tells any of you people that you are not welcome because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disabilities, or your fiscal capabilities, you can just tell them to put the card back in the deck, come on over and hang out with us. Yeah, that'd be about it.
Cool. And to the one and only Robert Pattinson. Everybody, put your hands together.
Black man.
I want to thank you guys for inviting me to this panel. It's been a lot of fun. Don't have to hide who I am anymore. No, it's been great. You can check me at Malcom Barret, Verbal the Rapper or something. I don't know. I'm sure I'm somewhere. I think I started an Instagram show called Going Live with Malcom. You can find me at verbal-icarus.com. That's my rap personality. I've got 2 albums. I got my own album. My first album, The Backpacker's Guide to the Galaxy. But then there's also Funhouse and the Sin City LP. Follow our Instagrams, Verbal and Icarus on Instagram, or at Malcom Barret, or at Verbal the Rapper. I don't know what's going to be relevant by the time people go do shit. So, you know.
See, this
follow my music and me.
Show.
It's going to be more of this. I'm on stuff. I'm on TV sometimes. I don't know. Like, we're not going to advertise with this commercial.
I love it. First of all, even if I asked or begged for a moment to follow up Watchmen So Black, I don't think I could have gotten it if I tried, but I'm just glad that it's happened this way.
With Mark, yeah.
And also, those who don't believe in your man's skills, you might want to stick around for the cipher that's coming up, because we're the only virtual comic book convention on the face of the planet that actually has a cipher at the end of it.
We do have a little treat coming in a second.
I didn't mean to jump in front of
a little treat. a little treat. Before we go to break, though, I did want to give a shout out to Brandon Perlow, Spish Mamudo. I really don't want to screw up your name, and I apologize. Then also shout out to Ryan Rowland, and also a big shout out to Kylan King Music, and Kofi Jamal, and what is it? Kofi Jamal. I feel like I'm missing one more. Paola CK, and Jamal Lee for super chats. Thank you guys for hitting us up in the super chat. Thank you so much for the love. You know what I'm saying? The rent party. We going strong. We doing our thing. So it's cool, you know, to see y'all drop $1 in the bucket. As you can see, my man Brandon Easton, he had the image from the Black Awareness rally. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some good girls there, some good clean girls.
A clean girl.
This girl said that like he had a gold tooth in his mouth, man.
Brandon Watson.
But with that said, guys, we're gonna go to break for a second. We thank y'all for coming through, staying, watching, all that good stuff. See y'all in just a second. Y'all stay tuned, and here is the break.
We'll be right back.